parole 2015, September 2015. Get out, and immediately I'm right in the mix. I got obligations I got to take care of, and I've made that step, into the brotherhood and federal or state. The brand's a brand. It don't matter. There's no two different, organizations or whatever it is. It all comes down to one council, and that comes from the federal prison, ADX, and the Supermax in Colorado. Underground is in the side of a mountain, and it's like I said, it's one of the best prisons you could be at, as far as doing federal time max. So, I get out, and immediately, out here, you get your cliques, and my clique was still in LR. There was another brother, and he had, his clique, he was skinhead before, and so you really want to, you could tell by the love your family had. You stepped up to a brother if they had respect or love for you by the way they treated you if you still stayed. So, that dude's family had a lot of hate towards him, and skinheads would come to me, and I'd, so say a little homie got out and came to me and said, hey, man, hit this lick for 10 grand, and you want half, we want 30%. I would be like, nah, man, just give me your feet, homeboy. Don't trip. I wasn't about taxing. I wasn't about praying, and that's how, when I paroled from the feds, all those brothers, the old ones, the ones that started, the ones that have been thugging since the 60s, those are all federal prison, besides here and a few. And those where it all comes from, So those are humble, righteous motherfuckers, and that's the family that I signed up for, So when I get out, and immediately I hear that there's another brother, and that all he does is call hits and praise on motherfuckers for living, And that's wrong. I'm not saying no names, right? And so immediately, he calls me and says, hey, man, who's this? And I said, who's this? You call my phone. And he goes, so I go, hey, what's up, homie? I'm Chucky, dog. Federal Brotherhood, And he said, oh, yeah, well, that's what you're claiming. So I said, well, what's up? What you trying to do? Who's your twist? Like, who do I report to? Who's our, twist out here? I said, hey, homie, don't question me, homeboy. This, And so I said, but I'll give benefit of the doubt, homeboy, because there was another homeboy, and it says because I'm younger, right? Because, I'm from the federal prison. I'm not all right there, Mostly besides 3 other terms in the state. That's been my, and so I said, all right, I got you. And so I texted homeboy's number. And it wasn't about 30 minutes later that he called back and said, hey, I apologize, man. Some dudes are coming out here screaming this, screaming that, acting like fucking Chapo too, So I said, it's good. So we ended up, we'll click up later. And so I seen his get down and he seen my get down. And all his get down was about, like I said, praying on, because he didn't really, it wasn't about nothing. He wasn't, nothing like brothers in the feds. And so everything kicked off, homeboy, the night that dude owed me money, right? And I said, hey, you know what, homeboy, I won't say his name either. Check this out, you and your girl got matching Sonatas. Cars. I've been out for 2 weeks. Just give me some girl's car, and I'll squat $5,000. And he said, all right, cool, don't trip. And so he gives me the car, and so it's 9 o'clock that night. I went to get the car, and I'll put it in there, right? And I go to leave, and I get in the car, and as I drive off, 9 o'clock, I don't know if I'm protecting me or what, man, and I don't know why I would think that. After so many years in prison, I wouldn't even, my instinct drive here, whoom, and it's the engine of a car flying behind me, and I look in the mirror and the lights are off of this car, and so I immediately ducked to the right, and I left the center console and put my head all the way almost to the passenger seat, but I grabbed my gun because it's under the passenger seat too, and lights me up. 13 holes in the side of that door, homeboy. He's black. Blue. Every one of them missed me but one, and one was in the ass, man. It hit me in the ass cheek and lodged in there in my hip, right? And so I didn't feel that first. So I'm shooting, boom, 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 boom. And so it was a Crown Vic, right? A brown Crown Vic. And so bam, it goes his way. And then I'm kind of, and so bam, I call my homeboy, say, hey, fool, I just got shot leaving homeboy's pad, right? He's like, what? And so I had to go to the hospital, right? I get to the hospital, I walk in there because I feel it. And I see the burn mark on my boxers and everything. And the doctor takes an x-ray and he sees how far the bullets lodged in and cuts it open, woof, and he sticks the things in there and he takes the bullet out, 9mm. Ding! And I said, all right, cool, thanks, later. And he goes, well, you got to be here for hours because, your antibiotics. And I'm like, all that, see ya. And I'm trying to get out of it. And so I bounced. That's all. But like next week when I went to see my pro officer, detectives came, right? And I said, man, I didn't see nothing. I said it was at nighttime and all I seen was teeth and eyeballs. And the detectives were looking at me like, teeth and eyeballs? I said, in the dark, they were black. I couldn't see nothing. All I seen was their eyeballs and teeth. So they laughed. I said, man, there ain't nothing right. So I leave. Oh, that kicked the whole war off right there. First I thought it was essays, and then I came to find out it was some other. And so by then I called right to go after one group. And so call right there, we all agreed on. Even the dude from that house, because he said, look, man, my nephew owed these fools this money, and he was going behind my back. And that night, when you came and you got the car, man, he had those dudes were coming down the street. And when they get in the car, they thought that you were him because he's all tattooed, looks just like me from the distance. Same height, same weight. And so when they were coming to get the car, they seen me and I was put in there. They thought that I was him packing up to leave town, come on the money and the car that he was going to pay, So they were, we'll just smoke this fool. And so, boom, 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 right? And so that dude tells me that. And so he actually gets in the vehicle and I said, we all go, okay, we get at these dudes, right? And so next morning, man, I see my phone and I check my voicemail and it's 7 minutes long, right? So I put the phone on, right, and I play, and the dude pocket dialed me, that dude that gave me the car. And so I can hear that him and his wife saying, listen, so-and-so, Tommy, even so-and-so and me are going to kill you because they're going to think that, that you set me up, Chucky up, or those dudes and that dude are going to kill you because they're going to think that you told us that it was them and not in the other group, the essays, And so then I knew that dude had told me a lie. You can, one gang of essays, another race, as a diversion to throw off from our race in a biker club, And so that started a whole thing. So now I knew that it was some biker fucking shot at me, right? Then it being an essay. So now I made a call. So he told me, it was, instead of telling me the truth, he told me, it was, gave me a bunk wire, said to me it was some essays in his gang that, his nephew owed, and they were the ones that shot me. And he covered for one of his homeboys he's known for 20 years, and he had an affiliation. But that affiliation in ours kicked off. And so it went on. So it was 2 weeks, right, from the first time I got shot. And then after 20 years, right, strippers, chicks that don't get high because they set you up. I did. I don't get high no more. I'm sober. I'm Christian. I don't do none of that. I don't part of anything no more. So, do you want me to say that or no?
Absolutely, I do. Put that in there. I want you to end this in a positive. I need you to end this in a positive. Okay. All
right, cool. So he lied to me and, gave me a bunk wire. So in my mind, that call right there, because of the tension that me and the other dude were having, the state and fed, or if he prayed or not, dudes or whatever, our little beef, in my mind, made up the call. And my homeboys from the ride were like, hey, Chucky Menace, check this out. That ain't the ride no more. They were upset kind of that I became, brown. I was like, open doors up. I was running. It was so stressful and so much, huh? What? What did you say, Tony?
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, brother.
Oh, my bad. All right. I said, all right. So the call I made, for that call, moving on in another race, right? And coming to find out that I was taken off, that I totally just made, in my mind, that right there could have got me crossed up. Boys were like, hey, man, with the ride, you can rules, and then the council vote on it, man. You can't just do whatever, Chucky. You're going to get, so in my mind, that I just put myself in the hat. So with the drugs, the speed, everything that was going on, it was a lot, it was a lot. It's one thing to be in prison, and I've been down 10, 12, 13 years straight, locked in an SMU special management unit, no drugs, nothing, no visit. Hey, it was just working out every day, gang banging, just that's all it was. And then bam, straight with drugs, and then I got so much drama going, and dude, it was so then I made that step. So now I just moved on in essays, and so with the voicemail that says right there, you lied to me. So then we had to deal with that dude, and once we dealt with that dude, then I had the dude that shot me call me and tell me, hey, I apologize, bro. I didn't know that was you, Chucky. I thought that was Eddie Boy. Eddie Boy did it, and you and what you're part of, right? You shot me. What do you mean you're sorry, homeboy? You and those dudes, what's up? And kicked off. So I'm coming back from Vista, California, to pick off my son off, right? I'm pushing dope out there. And I get a call from TCF, one of my homeboys, and he tells me, hey, folks, can you come through? And I know that's the sign. It's Friday, through and make a drop or whatever. And so I'm like, yeah, cool. And he goes, wait, somebody wants to talk to you. And I'm like, hold up. And so he puts this chick on the phone. And she's looking, hey, Chucky, do you remember some girl named Kimberly from back in the day from the beach? And I said, I only want to know one Kimberly, and that's Burry. And she goes, me, and I replay the flash of her in my mind, and just one of the only chicks from back in the day that was loyal, that was true. She was married. She was the baddest chick. You've seen the pictures, Tony, and she's one of those chicks that she has business. I mean, she cuts hair, the electric chair. She has her shit together. And I just told my homeboy the other day, because his chick and some other chicks were there, grimy, not the other, that day, she said, what's up, Chucky? What's up, my homegirl? And I said, oh, to get high. To set you up, or tell on you or something. So with Kimberly, I said, hey, man, I'm coming. I'll be there right now. And she said, all right, hurry up. And so, boom, I fly. And I ain't seen Kimberly since I was, 13 years old. I was 13, she was a couple years older than me. And she was married, and she was a few older, but so I'm flying. I'm thinking, yeah, she's awesome. She's my home. She's like my sister. I love this broad. She's cool. I never had a relationship with her. She took care of me. She was like my older sister back then. And so she gets in the car. I make the drop in homeboy, and we leave, right? And I'm like, well, what's up, man? What are you doing? She's like, nothing. She's like, I seen fucking TJ at the casino, man. I had to get out of there because my ex and got out, and I split up with my ex, and he ended up going to jail, and now he's out, and I seen him, and he's trying to, but he would get her and tell her, get in the car, or I'm hurt you or your friends or whatever. She had some pieces. She said he was a good dude, man. When I got with him, he was white, had a little bit of mix or whatever, and she says, man, he worked at a badass pad job, Chucky. And then next thing you know, he started getting high, and all of a sudden, his whole other side came out of him, right? And he started beating off in the trunk and all kinds of you did to her, right? And so I was like, at? Where's this dude at, right? And she's like, no, I don't want nobody to get involved in my problems. That's how she was, right? She is. And I'm like, well, whatever. So I get her and we get to this pad right there in Lakeside, and that's where she was hiding out at with this chick Chrissy. And I said, do you know where you're at? And she's like, no. So I'm like, all right, cool, right? And so we kick it, and I said, well, let me go, And all of a sudden this car pulls up, and we see it on surveillance, and I go, hey. I said, is that, and who is that, And it's so crazy, you guys, or Tony or whatever, how life works. Like, shit that's happened, like either me getting smoked while you get, or like that night when I got to that pad, I always keep my gun under the hood, right? I usually, back when I say done, I'd keep it under the hood with all that scale. Well, when we pulled up that night, I got out, boom. And I went to go get the gun, and I can say, I said, this is not a threatable spot, There's no threat right here, I don't need the gun. So I just went in, and I have a big brass knuckle knife, right? And brass knuckles with the big ass knife. Yeah, I used to have it, so I almost grabbed it and went in. And if I would have grabbed that gun that night, I would smoke this dude that came. Well, we're looking at the fucking surveillance, and all of a sudden the door flies, and it's the dude that she's been hiding from, and her eyes turned big, right? And I was like, see her eyes, you're like, fucking, I'm on that dude, whack, 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 whack. And he's screaming, he's running, I'm chasing him, right? And he's gone and calls his homeboy, hey, get the gun. And I'm hobbling over to my car real quick to pop my hood, and I'm thinking, this is it. I'm going to get smoked right now. I'm going to get shot, gun out from under the hood in the back, and I just got shot 2 weeks prior. And so, bam, I can go to pop it. I told TJ, watch my back. And next thing you know, I turn around, and those fools look at me from like 50, 20, 30 yards, and they didn't even have a gun. And I start firing, boom, 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 boom. And gone, right? And so I said, you come in, and they jump in the car and leave. And so I get in the car, and I said, hey, man, you want to use me as something to make your ex-boyfriend jealous? You better tell me. And I go off. She goes, I would never do that. And she's crying. And I didn't know then how he knew where she was at. It was impossible, right? And so we leave. And so anyways, I'm in the car, right? And I don't usually like her in the car with me because we're in the middle of a gang war. 3 different organizations were all going at it, all because I did. Kicked off. So she's in the car, right? I can go see my mom. I can go, a couple places, me and her shopping on a spree, and then I ended up sleeping with her for the first time after, all these years of knowing her, right? And once I slept with her, it was it. That's my chick. She's my old lady now, right? And so, man, we leave, and I tell my homeboy, that dude, the other brand member, hey, man, I need to buy a new car. Fucking, car got bullet holes. Well, I fixed the bullet holes. I took it to a shop, did all that, but I was just buying another car because it was a hot car, it was in the middle of, and so the other member says, yeah, I know some chicken right here in the Mesa, my homegirl. She got a Lexus for sale, 5G. I'm like, all right, boom. So the night I go there, it's midnight, it's 12 o'clock at night. I get there, boom, I'm with my girl. She's in her Audi. We get there, bam, I pay the broad. I say, hey, man, can I do it real quick? Yeah, I do a shot. Right? I didn't have the speed on me, right? So I always mix speed in her because I don't like doing speed just by itself, or I don't like doing it just by itself. So I just did so. Knocked me, man. It made me so, I couldn't keep my eyes open. So my girl's fucking babe, she's like, here, give me your keys. I'm driving. And I was like, nah, I don't want you in the car with me, man. Too much going on. She's like, hey, you're too loaded, Chucky. So she gets in the driver's seat, right? That will always haunt me right there for me doing that. But I'll never, hey, that was the root of all evil for real. And so she takes the keys and she gets in the driver's seat. And I hobble over to the, because I still got the bullet wound in my hip, right? And that's a monster still to this day. And so I get in the car and we're driving on the freeway. It's midnight and we're passing Greenfield and Lakeside. And she goes, babe, there's a car coming hella fast behind us. Oh, and I go, fuck, man, I got the gun on my lap. I got the dope. I got everything. I always put under the hood this bag. But I did it, right? That's something else right there. That's just, You don't know people having crazy lives in multiple different, you know. The fact that that night that I didn't take the gun into that house, because if I would have and that door would have flied open, I would have just shot that dude right there and killed him. And if I would have killed that dude, her ex, I would have had to kill my homeboy, the girl that lived there, and then I would have I was going to kill my girl, or not Kimberly, you know. I was going to, you know, all that was processing through my mind. I'm not knowing what, you know. So the fact that I didn't take the gun in was good. And the fact that I didn't put that gun under the hood that night saved our lives. Straight up. Because we're on the freeway, and she goes, babe, there's a car coming hell fast behind us. There's a cop. And she goes, I don't know. And so I got the gun and dope, and I'm up under the dashboard, trying, and in the center console, trying to stuff the dope. I'm stuffing the dope. I'm trying to get the gun up under there, and it's a new car, and it's tight leather, so hard to get, you know, spots like that in that kind of car. And so couldn't get the gun up under, so it's just, you know, on me. So I said, the cop, and she goes, I don't know. And then she goes, I don't know, here it comes, babe. They're coming up beside us. Man, I can just a hair, just a second too slow, man. Or I fucking save her, you know. Next thing you know, boom, 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 boom. I look over and I see the Escalade and two windows come down, and I see barrels come out of both of them. So that's it. And then boom, I see the flash, and the first bullet hit the windshield, and it hit her right up under the armpit, right? And then I turned and grabbed her in the bear hug. Well, when I turned in the bear hug, I got shot, boom, through the stomach. It went in and out. 40 caliber ripped through my stomach. I got shot up under the arm because my arm came around to get her in the bear hug and got me right up under my bicep, you know, because my helmet. And so when I grabbed her and I pulled her, I got shot through the back, in my hip, all that. And I put a picture of us in the hospital last year, right after the shooting. I shot one to Tony for the podcast, and pictures of us, you know. But anyways, so that happened, right? And when I grabbed her and pulled her, and we came right on the side of the freeway, right fucking into the right on the side of the freeway in the right lane, like right off the freeway, and the side came right and stopped, right facing straight ahead. And I look up, right, and I see two tail lights, and the Escalade stopped.